Assalamu alaikum students. Our today's topic is structure and functioning of nephron. In previous classes we read that kidney is the main or the primary organ of the excretion and each kidney consists of a million of nephrons. So we can see that a nephron is the basic structural and functional unit of kidney. And when we see its structure, this nephron consists of two parts. It consists of Bowman's capsule and nephric tubule. This nephric tubule consists of three parts: PCT, loop of Henle, and DCT. Let's discuss this in detail. Bowman's capsule, this large double-walled cup-like structure, this is called as Bowman's capsule. It is lined by thin semi-permeable epithelium, and in its cavity there consists of this bundle of capillaries which are formed by the division of afferent arteriole. This is afferent arteriole, and it itself is formed by the division of the renal artery. And here almost 50 capillaries make this bundle of capillaries, and this bundle of capillaries which lie in this Bowman's capsule, it's called as glomerulus. इसको हम glomerulus कहते हैं. ये जो afferent arteriole है, ये it brings the blood and that enters into the glomerulus, and this then filters, the wastes get filtered and they reach into the blood, this Bowman's capsule. After this this Bowman's capsule and this glomerulus, they collectively called as Malpighian body or renal corpuscle. Both these, Bowman's capsule and this glomerulus, this bundle of capillaries, they collectively called as Malpighian body, or we can say renal corpuscle. After that, there is long tube-like structure. This tube is called as nephric tubule. It consists of three parts. First is PCT. This PCT is proximal convoluted tubule. It starts from the neck of the Bowman's capsule. This is the Bowman's capsule. From here, this is called as PCT. It is twisted. It's twisted, or we can say coiled. And both these Bowman's capsule and PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, they both lie in the renal cortex. जो कि हमने पिछले चैप्टर में पढ़ा था स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द किडनी, उसमें दो पार्ट्स होते हैं, आउटर जो होता है वो कॉर्टेक्स और इनर जो होता है वो मेडुला होता है. तो यहाँ पर मैं एक लाइन ड्रॉ करूंगा which will differentiate renal cortex and medulla. Means this, below this line it is renal medulla, and here it is renal cortex above this line. It means Bowman's capsule and PCT, they both lie in the cortex. And this is twisted, so it's called as convoluted. It is tube, it's called as tube. It is first part is called proximal convoluted tubule, and it is the main site of selective reabsorption that we'll discuss later on. After that, there is U-shaped structure that continues from the PCT. This U-shaped structure, this U-shaped tube is called as loop of Henle, and this limb is called descending limb, and this is called ascending limb. This descending limb, it is thin-walled, and ascending limb, it is thick-walled. And after that, there is another coiled part which is called as DCT, which is called as distal convoluted tubule. As I said earlier, convoluted means it is coiled or twisted, and this tubule is called as convoluted tubule. This is also coiled, and this also lies in the cortex, and this loop of Henle, it lies in the medulla part. Means Bowman's capsule, PCT and DCT, they lie in the renal cortex, and only loop of Henle, this U-shaped structure, it lies in the medulla. This is also twisted here, and it absorbs water. Its distal part, it is end part which is situate it's called as collecting tubule. This citrate part of DCT, distal convoluted tubule, it's called as collecting tubule. And then it joins with a long duct, which is called as collecting duct. This collecting duct is common for many nephrons. Many nephrons join this collecting duct, and then it joins with the pelvis, and then it forms the ureter, which carries the urine to the urinary bladder. Now, if we look how it functioning occurs in this nephron, when the blood comes and it enters this afferent arteriole, this afferent arteriole is itself formed by the division of renal artery. The blood with wastes enter into the glomerulus. Blood with wastes like urea. This urea is actually formed in the liver. Mainly it's formed in the liver by the deamination of the amino acids, and a little bit is formed in the kidney as well as in the brain. Now, blood with all its constituents and also the waste like urea that enters into the glomerulus. Here, when this afferent arteriole divide, they form small narrow capillaries. Here, pressure of the blood is increased, and this pressure results in the filtration of this blood. This filtration of blood under the pressure is called as ultrafiltration. This is called as ultrafiltration. Okay. Now, when blood gets filtered, it enters into this Bowman's, this lumen of the Bowman's capsule. Here it consists of urea, also glucose, amino acids, various types of salts like sodium, like calcium, like chlorine. They all get filtered and enter into the lumen of the Bowman's capsule. This Bowman's capsule has small pores which are called as slit pores. Here, okay. When this filtrate formed that enters into the Bowman's capsule, it's called as glomerular filtrate. Now, this will move into the PCT. This glomerular filtrate will move into the PCT as it continues. And here, as I told earlier, selective reabsorption occurs. Means glucose, amino acids, and various salts, they get reabsorbed again back into the blood. This is called an efferent arteriole that emerges from the glomerulus. This is called efferent arteriole. This efferent arteriole actually coils the whole nephron. It coils. Here, if I will show, it will show a little jumbling here. This afferent arteriole coils the whole nephron. And what happens here? Glucose, important substances that get selectively reabsorbed, like glucose is there, amino acids, various salts, even water, they get back absorbed into the blood. Means these things first they are formed and they enter into the Bowman's capsule, which is formed a filtrate. This filtrate is called as glomerular filtrate. When it reaches into PCT, proximal convoluted, they get reabsorbed back into the blood. Like glucose is there, amino acids there, and many salts are there, and they get back into the. And what remains? The urea, some salts, and water remains that pass through the loop of Henle. This descending limb, it is permeable to water but impermeable to salts, and this ascending limb, this is impermeable to water and permeable to various salts. And then it reaches to here DCT. This filtrate that mainly consists of now urea, various salts, and water. Here in DCT, water get reabsorbed back into the blood. And it also works under the control of a hormone which is called as antidiuretic hormone that we will discuss later on in next class. The permeability of DCT also depends on this hormone which is called as ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Here water gets reabsorbed back into the blood. And what remains behind them? Here it remains, it is water, urea, and some salts that remain behind, which is called as urine. This is called as urine. Now this will enter into the collecting duct, and collecting duct will collect this, and from the many nephrons, and it will be transported to the ureters, and ureters will carry it into the urinary bladder, which will